Welcome to the geopolitical show Chessboard, where we talk all things geopolitics. The aim and intention of this show is to bring you unadulterated information about geopolitical phenomena which are taking place all over the world. We hope that from each and every one of our episodes, you will be able to derive the most relevant information. Our topic for today is the rise of the Global South. Where do we stand as part of the Global South? I hope you will find this topic and conversation very interesting. However, before proceeding with the actual conversation and discussion, let us watch a brief video. Dear viewers, today I have with me Ambassador Iftekhar Ahmed Chowdhury. It is a pleasure for us to have him. Sir has been the former foreign advisor to the government of Bangladesh, as well as the permanent representative to the United Nations from Bangladesh in both New York and Geneva. Sir, thank you so much for coming.
I'm very glad to be here.
Likewise, sir. We're very glad to have you. It is both a privilege and a pleasure.
Thank you.
Sir, should we continue with the conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, today's episode is centered around the idea of the Global South. So what does it mean when we refer to the concept of the Global South?
Actually, there was an American activist called Carl Oglesby who actually came up with the expression Global South.
Yes, sir.
He saw the world dichotomized, divided between a developed North and an underdeveloped South,
Yes, sir.
developing South, with the North exploiting the South and thereby creating an international order which is not in consonance with the concepts of economic justice, etc. So that was the original idea, that there's a developed North, which is the former colonial countries, former colonial masters, and the colonies would comprise the South.
Of course, sir. The concept itself is very comprehensive. So when we refer to the global north, in contrast to the global south, do we refer to the nations, rather, the countries which had colonized the countries in the south or the less developed part of humanity?
Well, generally it is, we refer to the countries that had colonized much of the rest of the world,
Yes, sir.
which is the European countries, largely the European countries, and add to it America, which didn't have colonies by themselves, but
Yes.
conceptually, America was seen as a member of the global North
Yes, sir.
when this idea was developed.
Yes. Thank you so much for such a concise yet potent answer. Sir, do you think that the colonial past of both the global north and the south, one being the colonizer, the other being the colonized, has somehow influenced the politics of today?
Well, it has, okay. I mean, you see, in the 1960s,
Yes, sir.
a body of literature developed which was known as structural dependency theorists. People like Raul Prebisch, Singer, Celso Furtado, also Pakistani economist Mahbub al-Haq. These people came up with a theory called structural dependency, which meant that the developing world was dependent upon the developed world, and the developed world was exploiting the developing world through what was known as the comprador elite, through the middle class in the developing world, who were sort of servants, as if it were, of the developed global North. So, and the whole relationship was one of exploitation. Eventually, this was more or less recognized, and the global system tried to correct it. The United Nations tried to correct it.
Yes,
For instance, the organization known as United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which is called UNCTAD, which was set up in Geneva. I had the privilege to be a senior advisor to Rubens Recupero, who was Secretary General UNCTAD, a brilliant Brazilian economist, former finance minister of Brazil. So they came up with ideas which sought to create a level playing field for both the countries of the North and the countries of the South. And this was done through institutions such as I mentioned, UNCTAD, and also the WTO. The WTO, of course, as you know, is the World Trading Organization. Yes, and through the influence of these kind of thinkers and leaders, the WTO recognized development as one of its objectives, one of trade's objectives, global trade's objectives, and therefore helped create a more even world. Today we see the South, which is quite developed now. You've heard of the BRICS, of course the
sir.
BRICS countries. They are, in fact, in a position to take on the North. China, for instance,
of course,
which is very much an active member of the South. Today, they see themselves as a peer power vis-a-vis the United States, and in consonance with what the Chinese call Zhangguomeng, the China dream. They see themselves as equals. But the difference is earlier on, the northern countries emphasized geopolitics, and China today is seen to be emphasizing geoeconomics.
Of course.
And as a result of which, without any outward show of imperialism, China is able to develop itself into a major economic player.
Sir, we get to perceive China's economic interaction with other countries of the world. When you say that China pursued geoeconomics, I completely agree with you, because I myself have seen that they do not care what is going on in the country. They do not associate themselves with the political environment or culture in the country, as long as there is cooperation with said country, and the cooperation is purely based on economics. I've seen instances where economics, for instance, Iran has been completely sanctioned by most of the Western world, but China did not abandon its partner because of its opulent trade. However, we did get to see that China did say the internal sense of politics does not matter, as long as we both see eye to eye when it comes to economics and, as you've said, geoeconomics. Sir, when it comes to China, let me ask you a question. I've perceived China as promoting ideas of a multipolar world. The same has been observed from Brazil, as well as India, as well as South Africa. So my question to you would be, we have seen the West being very, very comfortable with the idea of the US leading the Western world in its efforts against adversaries. So when we're talking about China or other global South leaders trying to create a multipolar world, would we say that this could be interpreted as a clash of civilizations between the global South as well as the global North?
Okay, I wouldn't take it as far as to call it a clash of civilizations.
Of course.
The Chinese themselves don't see it in that form. China tends to believe, or says it believes, that even competition in the global economic field need not be zero-sum, need not be a zero-sum game.
In
other words, it's not that one side wins, one side wins, the other side loses.
Promoting a win-win situation.
Yes, it's a win-win situation. That's the idea, that interaction between the two sides, the South and North, can lead to, should lead to a win-win situation.
Of course.
There is, however, always the danger, and this is a historic danger, which we call the Thucydides trap. Thucydides trap is when one of the side, no matter what it says, sees the other side getting more powerful.
Yes.
It is afraid. In other words, Thucydides had said that when Athens grew strong, there was great fear in Sparta, and war was inevitable. So the whole idea is that when countries are in competition with one another, we should keep our interactions confined to this win-win milieu and not get into a situation when one can be perceived as an antagonist of the other.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, when we refer to the rise of the global south, this is a very, very relevant topic to discuss in this day and age. We do see people discussing concepts of the rise of the global south, the rise everywhere. Like I've seen on multiple news outlets, they did claim it as a rise. So, sir, when I'm referring to the rise of the global south, is it only a few countries taking the lead, or is the South as a collective being risen?
Okay, I mean, you see, you can take different philosophical positions on this. When you talk of the rise of the South, most of the southern countries of the South represent very ancient civilizations.
Yes.
There's the Chinese civilization, the Indian civilization, the Persian civilization. So it would not be fair to say that they are rising now, because they had risen earlier as well. They went through a phase, the global annals, global history went through a phase where the South, because of the success of West's industrial development, etc., the Industrial Revolution, and for other reasons, fell a victim to the sort of the plunderings, as if it were, of the North. Militarily, the South was weak. That led to the colonial situation. That has been largely corrected. Today, we see the world as not unipolar. It's either bipolar or multipolar. Countries are militarily almost equal. Many of the countries are equal. So there is no fear of one being overwhelmed by another. So we have come to a situation where even stronger southern countries are deterring the North. You are aware, of course, of the theories of deterrence, etc.
Of course, sir. Of course, sir.
Also, some of the countries of the South have progressed in areas in which they have even surpassed the North, or is poised to surpass the North. For instance, the fifth industrial revolution, as we talk of China's progress in this area, this is integrating very advanced technologies like AI, biotechnology, and other sustainable ideas.
And so China has also progressed a lot with robotics infused with AI.
That is what I'm talking about, the fifth industrial revolution.
It's groundbreaking, sir. Physical AI.
Absolutely. And it is possible that it's always challenging for humanity to able to control its own creation. You are aware of the story of Frankenstein. We hope that doesn't happen with AI. It would be challenging to press AI into the service of humanity in a way that we profit from it. You see, otherwise it can also be, as you can understand, problematic.
Sir. Of course, very problematic, sir. We can see the forecasts, we can see the conclusions people are coming to, because there is a very niche fear, I would say, that AI will steal jobs from humans.
Yes.
And some jobs will be rendered obsolete if we proceed along a direction where small-scale jobs are being replaced by robotics. But sir, as I was referring to a clash, now let me revert back to that situation. When I'm referring to a clash, I was talking about a clash of civilizations. Now I ask you, is there a clash or a sense of conflict between the leaders of the global South as to who is going to be standing at the helm?
Well, okay. I mean, so long as men are men, there will be conflict for power.
Of course.
And power is what Aron had described as as one actor seeking to dominate another through force, and that is what power is. And there is power in fight for power in the global system.
Of course, sir.
The global system, you see, basically is anarchic.
Of course.
In other words, time was when we tried to create, we have created, and institutions such as the United Nations, WTO,
of course,
to which I was ambassador.
Of course, sir.
When you introduced me, you said that. You see, The idea was to conceive of a world order where each country is a member state of these institutions, are sovereign, etc. But in reality, the realists see a different kind of game. They see that in reality, might is right. So that creates a problem, which today we have to augment our own power by making linkages. And that is where foreign policy, international relations come into play. That we seek to, because say, country like Bangladesh, for instance.
Of course.
I mean, we are not militarily a strong country.
No, sir.
But we need to augment what we lack in power terms by creating global linkages.
Oh,
and
yes.
that is what our international relations, our foreign policy, etc. is about.
Sir, should we enhance our military capabilities? Would it just be for our own security, or would there be other factors in play? For instance, is there a possibility of us getting embroiled in regional skirmishes?
Well, security is more than just military deterrence. As you know, time was, say, for example, Finland vis-a-vis the Soviet Union.
Of course.
The Finnish had a policy, what was described as pilot fish behavior, tacking close to the shark in order not to be eaten.
Oh,
you see. So, but that didn't seem to work.
Yes.
Which is why today we see Finland as a member of NATO.
Yes, sir.
So the whole idea of NATO is to gain strength by collaboration among a group of
Yes,
partners. That is why during the Pakistani era,
Of course.
which is today Bangladesh was a part of Pakistan, and we were members of CENTO, CETO, etc.
Yes, sir.
And therefore sort of enhanced our own military power. But military power is no longer seen as lying in numbers. And the most interesting display of that was the recent aerial conflict that we saw between Pakistan and in India,
Yes.
where several aircraft, as you know, in first hours, our play, as they say, was brought down
Yes,
through sheer
Which included
technology.
three Rafales. Three Rafales.
Yes, well, it is this thing of military technology. There was a sort of a integration of the what they call the kill synergy. The targets were identified, and I'm told that it takes about 9 seconds for beyond the vision hit to be made. You see.
Okay, sir. That was very interesting. Sir, now I might bring up the conversation of international transactions. It has come to my attention that, sir, the US controls 44% of international transactions through the dollar. Then I have a list with me right here. Then it's followed by the euro at 35%, and the British pound at about 7%, the Japanese yen at 4%. Meaning 90% of global financial transaction is being controlled by the global south, global north, and which includes the West. In a situation which is this complex and such a dominance of currency, where does the global south stand? Do they have any backup plans, or is there a possibility of them going beyond this traditional method of transaction using Western currencies?
If there is no need to do that, better to let it wait.
Okay.
You have seen the reaction of
Donald Trump,
of Mr. Trump, for President Trump, for instance, to the whole BRICS, which was a glint in the eye, which was not even an idea, eye of an alternative currency, what it led to. So, okay, I mean, perhaps no need to go into that kind of conflictual relationship, when otherwise the whole idea is for you to achieve progress and prosperity in an ambiance of peace. And if you're able to do that, well, why rile the the angry?
Of course,
the
sir.
powerful.
I remember him making a comment. I think it was during a press briefing, and he was so overwhelmed by the idea of a BRICS currency, and it was just an idea. It was not a manifestation.
That's right.
And he said, just an association with BRICS, just an association with the BRICS currency would lead to an additional 10% tariff. It's as if he was just throwing tariffs as if it was confetti. So when it comes to the Global South, again, my final question to you would be, sir, Bangladesh, this should be the focal point of our conversation because we are Bangladeshis. Sir, in the rise of the Global South, I'm not referring to rise as a superpower, but as a sense of economic upliftment. Where does Bangladesh stand in the Global South? Only referring to our economic upliftment.
All right. I like to believe, and most of my life I have been a civil servant, of course, but I've also been a diplomat much of my life. And I have seen that there is a great global appreciation for Bengal's richness of intellectual resources. We have given rise to ideas that much of which have been accepted in the rest of the world and parts of the world and appreciated. We have challenges, of course. The challenges are political, economic, military, etc. But we also have great potentials. No need to be afraid, that is. For instance, in the last few months, we were overwhelmed by fear of what the tariff thing might do to us.
Sir.
I am confident that we will ride out that situation. And I understand that we are receiving, for instance, larger RMG orders now
yes, we are,
than we did before. So we must play along, must participate in global decision making. The whole focus and purpose of our relationship with the rest of the world must be to place ourselves in a position when we can influence others, our partners, in a way that we can advance our own interests. For instance, the idea of whether we should graduate or should not from the LDC, etc. The whole idea would be, of our foreign policy thrust, would be to create a sense of empathy for Bangladesh, a respect for Bangladesh, so that the powerful global actors assist us, because we have no designs on another. We are not strong. We do not have those colonial tendencies. We don't have a colonial past. But so we have to fall back on our ideas, and it used to be said, as you know, what Bengal thinks today, the rest of India thinks tomorrow.
Of course.
Perhaps we will use our non-technological capabilities and convert them into technological capabilities as well. You see,
through our democratic division.
Yes, not only that. I mean, I've lived many years in Singapore. Yes. And Singapore was a country with similar challenges that we have now.
Of course.
And today you see where it stands in the productivity, in the manufacturing field, in trade, etc. So yes, I mean, we have potentials, and we must work towards achieving fruition of our dreams.
Thank you so much, sir. This was truly an enlightening conversation, and I loved how you used the word empathy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
So did I, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, I hope that you did enjoy our conversation. It will be uploaded to our Facebook as well as YouTube page. If you like our videos, please go to our Facebook page as well as the YouTube one, and like and subscribe, and let us know which discussions you would like to see next. And of course, let us know of your opinion, because it does matter to us. It is your show. You make the decisions. We make the videos. Thank you so much.